Who would I hire as a plumber or plumbing apprentice? Let's talk about it.
I'm Kenny Molotov, licensed plumber, professional magician, and entertainer. On this channel, I go through the ins and outs of my career in plumbing. I take you through a day in the life and we talk tools, theory, and mindset. I'm trying to give you an arsenal of knowledge and an online resource so you can take this trade head on and find yourself successful on the other end. Click subscribe, hit that bell notification, and let's talk pipes.
Peeps, Kenny Molotov. Check out molotovplumbingacademy.com so you can get courses that are specifically designed to help you succeed in your apprenticeship. Also, subscribe to our newsletter so you know when we have content coming out to you all and whenever new products are coming your way as well. So I wanted to tackle this subject. Who would I hire as a plumber or plumbing apprentice? Because I think what we all want to do is become marketable and know what other plumbing company owners and other plumbers are looking for when they're hiring people on. So I wanted to give you my 2 cents on the subject. That way you knew what I was interested in finding. What were the characteristics I'm looking for whenever I'm hiring somebody personally? And that way you can go to other plumbers and other channels on YouTube and see what they're hiring for as well. So the first trait that I really want to put the spotlight on is I want to hire somebody that is good at handling pressure. I basically mean I want to have somebody on the crew that when times get a little bit tough, they don't crumble under that toughness. And that toughness might be there is a time allotment given to a project and now they have to work a little bit faster and problem solve a little bit faster, and we need to get the job done in a quick, timely manner. If you can handle that situation, that's a big plus for me. Also, somebody that has to deal with customers that are tough. So customers that are standing over their shoulder, watching them work. I want somebody that is able to function under those environments, even though they are uncomfortable. I personally don't like working under those environments either. It's very nerve-wracking to have somebody scrutinizing you over your shoulder. Someone who has a heated customer or a heated property manager approach them. And the problem is that when things are heated and people start raising their voices and they start using strong language, it's very hard in a lot of circumstances to hold our composure. But what I want and what I wish to have is a crew member that is able to take that on, remain professional, stand their ground in certain respects if they need to, but also approach me, the company owner, and basically say, listen, this is the situation taking place right now. These are the words that this individual has said. This is how I responded to them. What do you want to do going forward? So that for me is a very attractive trait. Somebody that can handle those pressures, maintain composure, and follow through in such a way where they remain professional and they are able to kind of compartmentalize that frustration and get the job done. That person right there is a major puzzle piece to being able to have a functional plumbing company. Do you know what I mean? So the second trait that I'm really looking for when I want to hire a plumber or a plumbing apprentice is somebody that is eager to prove themselves, eager to be there, and eager to learn. Anytime I meet somebody that is like, oh, why did we do that? And there's a sense of curiosity to them, that for me is always a very attractive trait. Also, somebody that is like, oh no, let me do that. Let me grab that for you. No, I'll run out and get that. That for me is a very attractive trait. When somebody just wants to prove themselves and show that, hey, I'm part of the team. I'm part of the squad. I'm not going to slow us down. I'm doing everything in my power to keep us at the same pace or even get us faster. That's an individual that we need on the team because guess what? We're a task-oriented career. And in task-oriented careers, we have behaviors that are task-oriented and then we have obstacles. These obstacles slow us down. And we got to make sure each crew member is part of the task-oriented behaviors, right? We're not trying to become obstacles ourselves. So anybody that is eager to learn, eager to prove themselves, eager to work, those are very attractive traits, and that's somebody that I'm looking for to have on my squad. That person, let's say I met a really exceptional plumber, but their eagerness was lacking quite a bit versus somebody that's just an apprentice and their eagerness is really high. I am much more inclined to hire the apprentice because the plumber that's not eager is somebody that isn't interested in keeping the squad fast. I would much rather that ambition than somebody that's really good at what they do, but they don't have any interest in being able to push when they need to etc. The third trait that I find really attractive is when I find somebody easy to work with. What that means is somebody that's sociable, somebody I can sit down and talk to and explain things to and learn things from, but also somebody that is game for most things that we have to do. And I'm talking about in the realm of reasonable, in the realm of safe as well. So in other words, if I ask you to do something that's 100% safe, I need you to go to the truck and get a pipe wrench. I need you to get on this ladder and try to shut that valve for me. I need you to do this, I need you to do that. If most of the time you're like, yes, for me, you're somebody that's easy to work with. If I turn to you and say, listen, I'd prefer that you don't do that, because if you do that, X, Y, and Z takes place, and you're like, oh yeah, cool, no problem. Sorry about that, no problem. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody that's easy to work with. If you are somebody that doesn't get their back up right away, somebody that isn't totally negative, somebody that doesn't have a chip on their shoulder and think that they are deserved things, like there's not a sense of entitlement to them, that is somebody for me that is easy to work with. If I have to repeat things multiple times, if I have to remind you to do things, you are starting to become somebody that is not easy to work with. If you're always on your phone, if you always need the instructions multiple times, all of a sudden you are not somebody easy to work with. I have found for myself personally, I think I have gotten clientele a lot of times as a business owner because I think I'm easy to work with. In other words, if the client had a hard time with something, or they were confused about something, or they just didn't understand something, they were comfortable to approach me. And that's a big thing as well. If you are approachable, then you are very easy to work with. I have a friend of mine named Ryan. Ryan works for the union, and Ryan is one of these individuals that always is busy. He always gets called by foremen to get onto the job site. And I know why. Ryan is extremely easy to work with. He's also very competent. He's also got a great knowledge on the trade, but I feel like his biggest selling factor is that if you're confused and you walk up to Ryan and you go, Ryan, man, I don't know why this is happening, Ryan will break it down to you, no judgment whatsoever. If you're down on yourself, he'll be like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't make yourself feel bad. Ryan is just super easy to work with. And anytime I've met an apprentice and worked with an apprentice that was easy to work with, anytime their name would be called and I knew they were going to be in the truck with me, that was an exciting day for me, because I was like, you know what? I know I'm going to have a good day, and I know we're going to figure it out. And I know when there's a time crunch, they're going to tie their shoelaces just like I am, and we're going to push through. The fourth trait that I find very attractive is a sense of loyalty. Loyalty is one of those traits that you can't really figure out until times get really tough. Loyalty a lot of times manifests on a job site with the reputation people describe you with. You know, if they are talking to somebody who doesn't know you, how do they describe you? You know what I mean? Do they describe you as somebody that's really good? Do they describe you as somebody that's really crummy? Do they throw dirt on your name, or do they big your name up? Whenever somebody says there's something wrong with you, do they turn to them and say, well, listen, okay, he was having a bad day or she was having a bad day, but most of the time they're pretty solid. You know, loyalty is that sense. And a lot of that loyalty is built by you being solid, right? Like, keep in mind, sometimes you deserve harsh criticism because you acted poorly on a job site. But a sense of loyalty is a sense of like faith in you. The other way loyalty is manifested is, especially for a company and on a job site, is like, is this person willing to stay late with you? Because if you're willing to stay late for somebody, there's a sense of like, I know this person needs help. I'm going to put in those extra hours for them because they need me right now. That sense of loyalty comes up quite a bit, especially in the service sector of things, and is very, very attractive. If I know I'm going to have an apprentice or another plumber that's going to see the job through, even though it cuts into the evening, I know that if they had left, it would have taken me twice as long. But now that they're here, it's going to take me a third of the time. And I know that they decided to make my life faster by staying there. That for me is a sense of loyalty as well. Loyalty for me is an important trait, and if you have it, it's something that makes you way more attractive in my eyes as a plumbing company owner, and I want you on my team if I definitely know you have it. The fifth trait that I'm looking for whenever I'm hiring a plumber or a plumbing apprentice is somebody with good morals. This is another big one that you can only really figure out when times get tough. And in a lot of circumstances, it's very hard as a plumbing company owner to know where the morals stand with individuals. But I want to give you an example. Whenever you run a plumbing company or you're in business whatsoever, you want to make sure that all your employees are doing the following. You want to make sure that they're not undercutting their other employees, they're not back-talking these employees, that they have the best interest of the entire group at hand. The last thing you want is an employee going to one of the clients and bad-mouthing another employee that's on the same team, because by doing that, they are putting a stain on the entire company, not just on that other employee. They're also putting a stain on themselves by showing that they're willing to talk smack about other members of the team. It is very ugly and it is very toxic. It's something that will break down into chaos very quickly, especially once people start hearing what other people have said about them. That's a very easy formula for disaster. That's number one. The second thing is that you don't ever want an employee that's going to go to a customer and that customer is going to whisper in their ears, hey, listen, why don't we nudge your boss out of this? And that way you and I can work directly and I can pay you directly. You can give me a cut and I can give you money, cash directly as well. Not only does that harm your boss, it harms every other member of the community that's in that group, because all of you come in and they put in that invoice, and now there's an invoice that's missing when some of that money that you were making for the company has to go to the overhead, has to go to the equipment, has to go to the lunch that we're going to be doing down the road and the Christmas party that we're doing down the road. You are not stealing just from your boss. You are stealing from all the members that are on the crew as well. It's not just yourself versus the boss. It's you versus everybody at that point. Another thing that we're looking for whenever you have a plumbing company is if you take scrap from a job site, that scrap is not your own. That is your boss's scrap. That scrap eventually will be taken to the scrapyard, and all that money will again be redistributed within the company. It will be put into the books, it will be put into the equipment, it will be put into the parties, it will be put into the bonuses. If that money didn't make it there, then that bonus that everybody was deserving is going to be a little bit less because your pockets are lined with your boss's scrap and actually the company's scrap. So knowing that you're willing to uphold all of these things and be a team player makes it way easier for somebody to keep you on the team. And also it makes it way easier to be able to hire you for the team as well. But if for some reason the boss or any other members of the team get a whiff that you're interested in lining your pockets, and that lining of the pockets doesn't only affect your boss, but it also affects everybody on the team, then it's a very easy way to not be working at that company anymore. The sixth trait that we're looking for as plumbing company owners is someone who solves problems, and not only solves problems, takes initiative to solve problems. I had this problem early on in my career, and it was the general contractor that kind of had to put me in check. So what had happened was I was installing a toilet and we needed, I think it was a vanity or a toilet, but we needed a specific size to put inside this one stall. And it was like a tiny stall. And I kind of turned to him. Again, I was an apprentice at this point, and I was saying, listen, man, you got to find something that's the right size. I don't know if you're going to find anything like this. And I was very negative as I was talking to him about it. I was kind of like, I was saying things in such a way that judgmental on him. It was almost like me saying, what's wrong with you? Why would you allow this to happen? This and that, it's a very negative lens. And he politely turned to me and said, listen, you should be part of the solution. You shouldn't be adding the problem. And that was very profound for me. And I remember revisiting this conversation in my head many times over the years, thinking to myself, yeah, I was being a prick, and that's not the way I should have handled that situation. And now in my life, sometimes I meet individuals that talk to me the same way I talk to him. And I kind of sit back and I go, I see what I did wrong there. You know what I mean? What I should have done, first of all, I should have taken out a tape measure and find out the allotted space we had, what we can fit, like the size that we needed to fit. And then I should have gone to my phone and found those dimensions and started looking up vanities. That's what I should have done. You see what I'm saying? That would have been way more productive. It would have made made me part of the task-oriented behaviors rather than becoming an obstacle. The obstacle now is that the general contractor has to filter through what I'm saying, filter through the emotion that I'm saying it in, and now has to find a solution all by themselves. But if I took on the task-oriented behavior of looking it up, approaching that general contractor and saying, listen, we're in a tight spot. We only have 24 inches to put in a vanity, but take a look. If we go to IKEA has a 18-inch sink. If we go to Home Depot, they got a 22-inch sink. You know, if I did that, that would have been way more attractive in his eyes. And also, it would have been way better for the entire team because I took initiative to solve problems for this general contractor and for the team. The faster I get my portion done, the faster the next member of the team can get their portion done. Because a lot of times, they're waiting for the plumber to finish so that they can come in and do something, right? So you gotta have task-oriented behaviors. You gotta be taking initiative to solve those problems. If you are able to capture a number of these different characteristics, I can guarantee you that people are gonna wanna work with you and have you on their team. Peeps, let me know down in the comments below if there are any traits that you would have added onto this list. And also let me know if there are any topics you want me to cover down in the comments below as well. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification so you know exactly when we're getting videos. Smash that thumbs up, share with friends, and I'll see you plumbers very soon. Kenny Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.